working on the seats. So the first thing I had to do was get a seam ripper and rip what was left of the seats after I took them apart so I can make patterns out of these parts here, or these pieces. See, they're all weathered and tore up. This is the back. This is the part that sits on the back that you lean your back up to. So I had to cut these out of some vinyl. So I went to Joann Fabrics, got me some marine vinyl, and then I went online because they didn't have this and bought this automotive piping because they had that in here too. So I had to buy some new piping. And then I got this sewing machine from one of my customers, Ron. You may have seen that little roadster that guy's got that I helped him with. Put that opposed twin Briggs on it. It's got that little cool roadster car. Well, he bought this sewing machine when he first got married in 1959. And he was selling it in a garage sale, and he goes, Taryl, that thing will sew through a yardstick. This is a powerful sewing machine. So I bought it off him, 50 bucks. And I was sewing with it, and the motor took a crap. It needs a set of brushes. So I'm either gonna try to find some brushes for it, or I'm gonna have to find another motor. And then it needed a belt. The belt's all dry rotted. And again, went out and that bunch of those Aaron's parts where I got the switch for the parking brake, and I found these O-rings. And the O-ring's about the same size. It's a little smaller, but there's adjustment on this thing for the belt. So this O-ring worked good for a belt till the motor took a crap. The brushes are wore down to nothing. You know, this thing's probably done a lot of sewing since 1959. So yeah, this is for a snowblower, this O-ring. For an Aaron snowblower. It goes on the wheel for the differential lock or something. Well, now it's a sewing machine belt is what it is now. But before the sewing machine took a crap, I was able to get this sewn. Look at it! Woo! Look at that! I'm like a regular Betsy Ross. Of course, you know, I had to practice with this thing. I got the manual out. I got everything with this sewing machine. So I read the manual, got me some scrap pieces of vinyl and stuff, and started messing around and sewing, and you know, look at that thing, does a good job. So now all I got to do is put this on and staple it down. See how I added the white to it on the ends? So I made a new board. I cut me some new plywood, again, who I got from Ron, who I got the sewing machine from. He goes, hey Taryl, I got a piece of 1/2 inch plywood, some scrap pieces. So he had enough. So I cut out new board. Then again, I went to Waste More Money at Menards and got these 1/4 20 T-nuts, prong T-nuts. In case you don't know about these. Got them in there, so now I can put bolts in like they had it and bolt this on. And of course it's straight now. Before it wasn't lined up. And I'm going to reuse the old foam, but I'm adding a piece of carpet padding. Now the reason I use carpet padding, it's a little more denser, it's a little thicker, it's not as spongy as this. So I want to add a little stoutness to it. So I went to our local carpet and flooring place here in Podunk, and I bought some carpet foam. I can use it on a lot of projects. I bought it a couple years ago. I got a whole roll of it I bought. So we'll put that on. Put this on. Stretch that on. Staple it down. Just exactly how they had it. And then when I get the sewing machine fixed, then I'll do the other parts. There's the other parts there. That's the part you sit on. I already got it cut. Now all I got to do is cut the material out. And there's your dinner. Like a Betsy Ross. Now when I remove this outer shell to weld in my steering column, these screws that held this lid on had nuts on the back side. So I put nut certs in there. Now you may know about my nut cert tool. A lot of you don't know, or nut rivets they also call them. And the holes that were in this metal were actually the correct size for the nut cert, so I didn't even have to drill them out. All I had to do was put the nut certs in. Say that 3 times real fast. Nut cert, nut cert, nut cert. And of course, as I'm doing this, I'm replacing any kind of hardware that I take off. I'm replacing it with stainless steel. Because I like to use stainless steel because it doesn't rust. You know, we have a customer named Rust, and he comes in here. And he came in one day and I said, "Hey Rust, you look pretty tired." And he says, "I got insomnia." And I go, "Oh, so Rust never sleeps?" Neil Young. So that's what I do. I put stainless in. So any of the hardware, like for the headlights and anything that I'm doing, I'm like, I'm going to replace it with stainless steel. So that's what I did. I added some nut certs. So now if I need to take this off, all I can do is unthread them, and I don't have to sit there and fumble with my nuts. Oh, look. Got it on. Got it all stapled to the wood. Not bad for my first attempt. Now I've done some upholstery on some other projects of mine. This is the first time that I've used this piping. Other times I just sew the material together. So now that I got my new sewing machine, not bad considering the sewing machine kind of broke down halfway through making this. Looks pretty good. Looks like an old shoe, black and white shoe. What do they call them shoes? They got a name for them shoes. So now I just got to do the bottom piece here. Well, I got the bottom seat all sewed up. Got the new motor for my sewing machine, my 1959 Kenmore. I know you're saying, "Taryl, you should have did a video on fixing that sewing machine." Because I am. Taryl Fixes All. I even fixed the sewing machine. I found a motor online. It wasn't the one for that one, but I bought it anyway because it looked close, and I'm like rolling the dice and crossing my fingers because I'm going off of pictures, and it did work. So here, I got it sewed up. Looks pretty good. I'm proud of it. This was my second attempt. I didn't do this right the first time. I sewed it together the first time, put the cover on, and it was too small. So I had to take a seam ripper, rip it all apart, and I made these panels wider. And then I ran out of black. I didn't have enough black, so I added that white to the front, which I think looks better. But yeah, I'm getting the hang of this sewing. I'm like Hazel. Remember Hazel from the old TV show? "How you doing there, Mr. D? Hey, Mr. D." But it was Mr. B, but I'm Mr. D. So there we go. Now, this does have grab handles that go on the side, but I'm going to get them powder coated. So I just cut me some temporary pipes so I can put the seat on for now. But there's those grab handles that go on the side and they kind of help you hold you in the seat. I'm going to get them powder coated along with this. But I wanted to put my seat on. Looks pretty good. Painted the plywood and everything. I'm happy with it. I think it turned out good. Again, you know, you just got to try things and experiment. I've upholstered some stuff, but I've never used this this beading on there before. So I bought that beading, and I got a strong enough sewing machine now that it can sew it all in there. Sure, as time goes on and I do other projects, I'll get better and better at it. I also bent up this other bracket or panel that I made for this side. I just got to drill the holes and bolt it in now. But that goes in there. And I bent this on that Harbor Freight brake that I bought. So look at that. That'll go in there. I just got to drill the holes. And if you notice, I got the wheels off. So I had to put some kind of wheels on it so I can move it around while I work on these. Now I know I said earlier that I was going to have the rims powder coated. Well, I started breaking the wheels down, breaking the tires down, and they were so hard to get on and off the rim. When I just did one, I thought, you know, if I have these rims powder coated, I'm going to nick and scratch the crap out of them when I go to try to remount these tires. So I thought, you know what, why don't I just rattle can them? So I was watching that Hot Rod TV show with Tony Angelo and Lucky Costa, and they had a trick where they used playing cards. They shoved a deck of playing cards in there so you can paint a rim, and I thought that's a good trick instead of trying to mask it off. So instead of using playing cards, I used index cards because I need them playing cards. Because, you know, when we're playing cards with other people, I got to take their money, and ain't going to be no good if they're all spray painted on. So I used index cards. So I sanded the rim and then hit it with some primer. And then I painted it white. And it looks pretty good. To me, it looks just as good as powder coating them. So I'll put new valve stem in. I'll probably get some kind of fancy lug nuts maybe. I thought about hubcaps, but I think I'll get some fancy chrome or stainless steel lug nuts. Dress up the tires. So there we are on the tires. Now I also said I wanted to add something to this front bumper. So I went out in the junkyard and I got a bunch of these lawn tractor bumpers. Extra bumpers here. So what I think I'm going to do is cut these off and move them because I don't want to block these little marker lights. And I think I'm going to weld this up here, maybe weld it up higher so you can still see those marker lights, and then move these in here to the inside so you can still see those little marker lights, because these are like right in the way of those marker lights. But this is the part I want, this bent part. And it seems it fits, you know, the width of it is pretty even with that. So I'll either cut these off and reuse them, or I'll make some new standoffs and weld them to here. And then I'll weld this probably up here somewhere. So I got a little bit of a fancier bumper. And then I'll send this off to powder coat too. Same with those side handles and this. So, there we are, plugging along. Turd polishing 101. Polishing a lot of turds. We're polishing the stink out of this turd. That's what we're doing. Oh, one other thing I did, I took a little rubbing compound, and as you can notice, this was the, see how the paint's all faded? So I took some rubbing compound and kind of polished on the paint. And I also welded up some cracks that were in here, because this was cracking. So I welded that up, primed it, and I found some paint that was pretty close to the color that was on there. I'm not going to paint the whole thing. I don't want to make this like a showpiece, because then I'll be afraid to use it, because it'll be too nice. And I don't want to do all this work and then be using it and it gets scratched and I'm mad. So I'll just clean up the paint, touch it up in a few spots, because I am going to use this thing. But you never know. I said that about the Spitfire too. And then a couple months later I had the thing stripped all the way down to the frame, and then the next thing you know I'm restoring the whole car. But we'll see. We'll see. Here I come. Coming to get you. Okay, so now I was thinking drink holders. Gotta put some kind of drink holder on the held. I gotta have a cold beverage while I'm doing yard work. So I went on the inner screen and I'm looking at all these different drink holders, and I'm like not liking what I'm seeing. And I thought, you know what, let me make my own drink holders. Let me make some kind of hillbilly drink holder, or just some kind of drink holder. So I thought, why not PVC pipe? I got a bunch of this PVC pipe laying out back behind the shop. A couple miles of it. So I thought, I'm going to make me a drink holder out of this 3.5-inch PVC. And then I needed the cap to put on the end, and I thought, well, I could put a wooden plug in there, but I didn't have a hole saw that was the right inside diameter, so I could drill like a plug of wood and then stick it in there and then either glue it in there or drill some holes and put some screws to hold it in. So I thought there's got to be some kind of cap that'll fit on the bottom. So here's an old, tape case that electrical tape comes in. And lo and behold, look at that, fits perfect on the bottom of that. So I'm going to make me a drink holder out of this here PVC pipe. Kick it over here, cameraman. Plus I'm saving money by making my own instead of buying it. So I got the cap glued on the bottom, and I glued it, of course, with the HV350, which we sell in our online store. This stuff has got 1,000,001 uses, probably 1,000,002 uses. So I glued that on the bottom. I'll drill a drain hole in there so any kind of liquid could drain out the bottom. And then in order to mount it to the held, I thought, let me put a stud in there. But I need the stud to be flush, because I don't want it to interfere, get caught on anything if I put a bolt in there. So what I did is I got this countersunk screw, and I held it with a pair of pliers, and I took my propane torch and I warmed up the head of the screw a little bit. I stuck it in the hole I drilled in there, and it kind of melted itself in there because I had no way of countersinking it. Now this kind of stinks when you do that, so I advise you to do it outside in a well ventilated area, because this pipe does stink. I'm sure it's probably toxic, so that's why you should do it outside. And look, it's in there like that. So I got the screw in there, I got a spacer in there, and what I'm going to do is thread this into one of the existing holes that's on the dash, and then it'll also act like a pivot. I also took the head of the screw and I took some wax and I kind of waxed it. I don't know how long that's going to last on there, but I'm sure after a while it'll wear itself in. So it kind of pivots free. So there's my hillbilly drink holder. I'm gonna go put it on the hill and show you how it looks. So I took this screw out that's on the dash here, because this would be a good spot to put that drink holder. Now I'll tighten this down. Put the right amount of tension on there, tension. So we can get it to swivel. So that way when you're driving around, you know, it kind of, you know, if it was mounted solid, it's going to shake your drink up quite a bit. This is going to kind of lessen that shaking it up. Look at that. Look at that. I'm excited. I can't wait to start using this thing. And then look, it's not in the way when you climb in and out. Oh yeah. Woo! Yeah. Tasty beverage. Hams, like that Hams koozie. Fan sent us that. I love these things. This is the prettiest koozie. They're better looking than the ones we sell. That's good. Woo! Get out of the way! Hi y'all! Alright, finally finished as far as I'm going with this thing. And what do you think? How's it look? Now I didn't repaint all this because I wanted to leave some originality to it and some of the original patina on there. You know Tina, don't you? But I did buff it out with the rubbing compound. There's my bumper, all powder coated, and I even found some caps to put in the ends of the pipes. Got this bar powder coated. Got my mirrors on. Had these powder coated. And then I also took the bed off and painted it. Sanded it, painted it. Added another latch here, so now I can open it from both sides. It's all painted underneath now. Nope. Locks in. Made my little pad for the headache board. Painted all this. Got this yeller stain that I put on that treated wood and painted everything. Got all that bed liner put in. And I even went 3 inches up here with the bed liner, you know, because that's where your toes kick it. So walk around and check it out. Got my slow moving vehicle placard on there. Got new reflectors that I bought because I had to chisel the old ones off. They had red ones on, so I put a red one on the back and I put yeller ones on the sides. And then I also got my, like we said earlier, I got my low fuel sending unit in there. I did have to extend it a little lower. I thought it was deep enough, but I had to extend that little metal piece of wire on there. Remember that little piece of wire that was holding the little sender? I had to cut that wire and extend it, make it longer. we didn't show that, but I did it. I want it to be deeper in the tank. So that's all done. What else did I do? This was starting to light up because it's got low fuel. Takes a minute for it to warm up. See, it's lit now. There's enough fuel in it for us to ride around, but I should probably put some more fuel in it. My luck, I'll run out of fuel. Dinosaur juice. Low dinosaur juice. Oh yeah, and my graphics. Look, I got my label maker. I got a brother label maker. And I also made a label that says parking brake warning light. And low fuel. I went over the other one. What did it say? Washer on there. Wiper and washer. And I also made a new one for the choke. Got my Taryl. It looks like I got chicken pox though. I got some red overspray on there. So now I got chicken pox. Look at me. Or zits. This is the one when I was a teenager, so I got zits. Which you can buy in our online store. So yeah, now you can see it's lit up. Low fuel, better add some dinosaur juice to it. Otherwise they're going to be stuck on the road. And it's all tied into the key switch. So yeah, it's all done. Oh yeah, I found some little rubber caps to put over the hub. Kind of hide those washers and stuff on there. So all that, again, little details. I did the bed liner inside here. Sealed this all up. Painted all that bed liner inside. So that looks good. So yeah, we polished this turd up as far as I'm going to polish it. Got all the stink out of it. So there's only one other thing to do. Like our new stickers say, fire it up, fire it up, fire it up, fire it up. And we're going to see how fast we're going to go. Well, there you have it. Held hauler, it's all done. Except I just broke the transmission in it. Now I gotta figure out why it won't go forward. Goes to reverse. Well, that'll be another video in itself. Now I gotta fix it. I don't know what I did to it. Maybe it's something simple. Doesn't look like it's gonna be something simple. So subscribe to this YouTube channel, Taryl Fixes All. That's me, Crazy Taryl, and the held hauler that I just wrecked. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram with your held haulers. Go to our web store, buy some Taryl stuff. We got all kinds of stuff. Get that Fire It Up sticker, get some other stickers, get some other stuff. And as always, there's your dinner. Woo! 1984 held hauler was beating on it. I probably shouldn't have beat on it. But hey, got to test it out. Got to put it through its paces. Don't worry, I'll fix it. I'm Taryl Fixes All.